Okay, loves, we are gonna start by making a slip knot. And just know that when working with this yarn, you are gonna have a hard time seeing. It's more about feel. So working with fur does take a little bit more experience and practice. It is possible, and it is very possible that you will get frustrated as well, but you can do this. I know you can, and you can make a very gorgeous bucket hat, okay? So after we've made our slip knot, we're actually gonna take our crochet hook out of there, and I'm gonna insert my crochet hook into this corner right here. Okay, and then I'm gonna put my slip knot onto my crochet hook. I'm gonna pull through, so my slip, hi honey. I'm gonna pull my slip knot through, and I'm going to make a slip stitch and still keep that loop on my crochet hook, okay? And so now we are basically doing the zigzag stitch. This is an alternative to the bucket hat pattern I made. And so what I'm just doing is I'm doing the same thing, except for in that bucket hat pattern, I chain one. With this zigzag, it's the original zigzag join, and it will not have a chain one. So this is just a slip stitch on both sides. So I'm going to insert my crochet hook into this corner, yarn over, and pull through that space and that loop. Okay, so slip stitch on both sides. Now you're gonna move the fur to the previous granny square. Okay, so move that out of the way, and you're gonna find that first stitch right here. We're gonna insert our hook, yarn over, and pull through that stitch and that loop. So just a slip stitch. Now going back to the next granny square, we're gonna insert our hook into that stitch, okay? I wanna try to show you here. Insert it into that stitch, yarn over, pull through that stitch and that loop, like so. Okay, so let's find the next stitch on the previous granny square. So we're just going back and forth, okay? So insert my hook into that stitch, yarn over, and pull through that loop. And pull through the stitch and the loop, sorry. Find the next one on the next granny square, yarn over and pull through, making a slip stitch. All right, so now we're just working our way up these stitches, okay? And you will have to move the fur because it's going to get in your way a little bit. You just want to make sure that you're going into the right stitch. So work our way up. Okay, so I just did a slip stitch in the last, let me do the last stitch here on this side. Okay, so we have worked all the way up our stitches. Now we're going to slip stitch in the top corners. Okay. And then I'm going to chain one, just like so. Cut. I don't want a really long one because fur is easy to sew in the ends. So that's what it looks like when we finish chain one and pull tight. So tightening off that. And now I have 3 granny squares worked together. So now I'm going to add the 4th square. All right, so I have the 4 joined, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to lay it face down and I'm going to fold the two ends together, just like so. Now, this is going to be different because we will not fasten off after we join these, the first and the fourth squares together. We will join these two, and then we will continue on joining the top. So this one will not be fastened off after we get to the top of the two granny squares. Just finish slip stitching this top all the way to the top corners, and now we're going to add the top granny square. So what we're going to do now is take our crochet hook into that top square, slip stitch, go into this join. It's going to be a little bit tough, but you're going to make your own little hole there. Slip stitch into that join, okay? And then slip stitch into the next corner, and then back into that top corner, just like so. And now this top granny square is attached, and we are going to continue with the slip stitches on both sides, going alternating back and forth with the slip stitch. I'm going to join these two sides together, just like we joined these two granny squares together. And then when I get to the corner, I will do the corner again with you, just so that you have a good grasp on how to do that. So going into that first stitch, slip stitch, going into the next granny squares, first stitch, slip stitch. Continuing on down this line. Okay, I just finished the last two stitches on the granny square, and now I'm going to be working the corners again. So going into this bottom corner first, slip stitch. Going into the top corner, slip stitch. Now we're headed to the joining space, and I'm going to, right at the top of that join space, we're going to slip stitch, and then slip stitch into the next granny square's corner, and back into the top with a slip stitch. Continue this pattern until you have reached the end of all of the sides of the top, until you basically get back to the beginning. So I am on the last corner, and you can barely see it because it is covered in fur, and I'm going to do my last slip stitch. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to chain one so I can fasten this off and pull through. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my crochet hook into the beginning of the joins, and pull that through. So now that we fastened off there, we are going to start on the brim. The repetitive pattern that I'm going to go with for the brim, I'm going to do my slip knot first. So we'll do 1 double crochet in the stitch or space, and then 2 double crochet in the next stitch or space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in this corner space right here of this granny square, and I'm going to put my slip knot onto my crochet hook, and I'm going to chain 3 and then double crochet, and that is my first increase. In the next stitch, which you could see is right here, I'm just going to do 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, 2 double crochet. And again, this might be a little bit difficult, but you'll have to feel it instead of looking at the loops. So continuing on, we will go in every stitch, every corner space, and join. Okay, so you will even do a double crochet in the join. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet. Into the space, and then 2 double crochet in this join. One double crochet in the next corner space, and then continue all the way around. And I will meet you back when I am done working all the way around the bucket hat. All right, I just finished my last stitch in the join space, and I'm going to use my fingers to feel around for that first chain to insert my hook, pull through, slip stitch, chain 1, okay, cut your end, pull up with your crochet hook, and pull tight. Okay, and then all you have to do before you sew in your ends, what I like to do is I like to rough up the fur a little bit, because some of the fur can be stuck in the stitches that you've made, in the join that you've made. So I just rough it up a little bit to make the fur more prominent, more fluffy, whatever have you, okay? And you will see that there's a lot of fuzzies that come out. So you will be covered in fur, but that's okay. And then all you have to do is sew in your ends. I have my end on a darning needle. It's quite small. I lost my bigger one. All I'm gonna do, sorry, moved ya. What I'm gonna do is take my darning needle through the fur join, pull that through, and work my way back and forth, okay? I just want it to get stuck up in there really good. Just back and forth. Ooh, it's getting a little bit tight. Okay, maybe pull through a little bit. It's getting a little tight there, so I'm gonna have to make another round. Okay, and then just like that. So I went back and forth 3 times and then cut. And that's pretty cool. I think that it looks good inside out and the right way. So I'm gonna flip it real quick. Do a little flipperoonie. You might have to use a lint roller to get it all nice and get the fuzzies off. This is my pants, my shirt. We're kind of a mess. She is gorgeous.